Ever wondered how one man could rise to become a household name, only to see his empire crumble under the weight of scandal? Mel Gibson's journey is a tale of unimaginable success, incredible talent, and catastrophic mistakes. From being one of Hollywood's brightest stars to facing public backlash, legal battles, and accusations of racism and violence, Gibson's downfall became one of the most talked about stories in Tinseltown. But behind the controversies, there's a complex story of a man seeking redemption. Join us as we unravel the rise, fall, and possible comeback of Mel Gibson. The DUI incident of 2006. The story begins on the early morning of July 28, 2006, when Mel Gibson was pulled over by the police for driving under the influence on the Pacific Coast Highway. He was speeding going 87 miles per hour in a 45 miles per hour zone, and his blood alcohol level was 12, which was well above the legal limit in California. Now, DUIs aren't exactly rare in Hollywood. But what made Gibson's arrest so infamous was his explosive anti-Semitic rant during the stop. Times reported that Gibson became agitated and verbally abusive toward the officer, and as things escalated, he directed racist, profanity-filled comments toward Jewish people. The arrest was documented on video and made public, which not only caught the attention of the media, but also damaged Gibson's reputation permanently. He later apologized, explaining that he was angry, drunk, and out of control, but his words had already left an indelible mark on his career. In 2016, he told Variety's Playback podcast, "I was loaded and angry and arrested. I was recorded illegally by an unscrupulous police officer who was never prosecuted for that crime." Though he claimed the recording was unlawful, it didn't change the fact that he had unleashed a venomous tirade that would haunt him for years. More anti-Semitism and racist remarks. Unfortunately, this wasn't the last time Gibson made anti-Semitic comments. In a 2010 interview with GQ, actress Winona Ryder recounted a disturbing encounter at a party where Gibson allegedly made a Holocaust-related remark about the crematoria. Ryder's claims were chilling, but they were far from isolated. In 2015, Gibson made even more controversial statements about the Holocaust. He raised doubts about the number of Jewish people killed during World War II, suggesting that the number of victims had fluctuated over the years. "I mean, when the war was over, they said it was 12 million. Then it was 6. Now it's 4. I mean, it's that kind of numbers game." Gibson also clashed with screenwriter Joe Esterhaz in 2007, when the two were set to collaborate on a movie about a Jewish revolt against the Romans. Esterhaz accused Gibson of sabotaging the project, writing in a letter that Gibson's refusal to make the film was driven by his hatred of Jews. Gibson has always denied these accusations, but they added fuel to the fire of his tarnished image. Homophobic remarks. As if his racism wasn't enough, Gibson's views on the LGBTQ+ community were equally troubling. In the early 90s, he was quoted in El País, a Spanish newspaper, making homophobic comments such as, "With this look, who's going to think I'm gay? Do I look like a homosexual? Do I talk like them? Do I move like them?" But things got even worse in 2020 when Winona Ryder, in a Sunday Times interview, recalled an incident at a party where Gibson made offensive remarks about one of her gay friends, saying, "Oh wait, am I gonna get AIDS?" Gibson denied these allegations, claiming Ryder was lying and even confronting her about the accusations years later. But the damage was done. His homophobic behavior became yet another mark on his growing list of controversies. Blacklisted from Hollywood. By the time Mel Gibson's multiple scandals reached their peak, Hollywood had effectively blacklisted him. Once one of the biggest stars of the 80s and 90s, Gibson struggled to land major roles in the years that followed. Between 2006 and 2016, Gibson only acted in 6 films. He was no longer the golden boy who could do no wrong. But despite his fall from grace, some people in Hollywood still believed in his talent. In 2014, journalist Allison Weiner published an essay in Deadline, urging the industry to forgive Gibson, stating, "On the occasion of this 10th anniversary of The Passion, I propose to Hollywood that it's time to forgive Mel Gibson." Gibson himself, however, seemed perplexed by the idea of being forgiven. In interviews, he expressed confusion about why he had been ostracized in the first place, asking, "Forgive what? What did I do, really? While Gibson has managed to secure a few projects, including directing Hacksaw Ridge, which earned him 6 Oscar nominations in 2016, the actor's once unshakable presence in Hollywood was severely diminished. A violent relationship and domestic abuse allegations. Gibson's personal life took another dark turn when he began a relationship with Russian singer Oksana Grigorieva in 2009, shortly after separating from his wife, Robin Moore. The couple quickly welcomed a daughter, Lucia, but their relationship quickly spiraled out of control. In 2010, Grigorieva filed a restraining order against Gibson, alleging that he physically assaulted her. She claimed that Gibson punched her repeatedly, causing a broken tooth and a concussion. Gibson admitted to slapping her, but insisted that it was to bring her back to reality during a meltdown. Grigorieva secretly recorded several phone calls between them, capturing Gibson's derogatory language and racist slurs, which he allegedly used to threaten her. In the recordings, Gibson could be heard making vile and threatening statements toward her, further tarnishing his public image. Grigorieva rejected a $15 million offer from Gibson to keep the tapes private, saying it was about standing up to domestic violence. After a lengthy custody battle, Gibson and Grigorieva reached a settlement in 2011, with Gibson agreeing to pay $750,000 in exchange for her silence on the matter. A glimmer of redemption. While Gibson has faced intense criticism and legal consequences for his actions, it's clear that he hasn't been entirely abandoned by Hollywood. Despite being blacklisted for years, he managed to make a comeback with Hacksaw Ridge, which demonstrated his directorial talents and earned him critical acclaim. In the years that followed, Gibson began to re-enter the Hollywood scene. In 2022 alone, he appeared in 7 films, including Father Stu and Bandit. These projects signaled that the once blacklisted actor might be on the verge of a professional resurgence, even though his personal life remains riddled with controversy. Thanks for tuning in. Mel Gibson's legacy is a complicated one, filled with controversy, redemption, and unanswered questions. Will he fully recover from his past actions or continue to be defined by them? Only time will tell. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below with your thoughts.